So your book. Let's talk about your book. You told an interesting story about how you were writing your book, you failed, and you just couldn't get through the book. Tell us a story about how you ended up writing your book.
So, I'll tell the whole story.
Okay.
So I start working at the vet center, like I said, and I kind of have a mental break, stop there, lose everything, start my path of healing. But it's in that vet center time, right about then. I'm working there, and I'm like, and I call up, can't use their names. I call up the other two on my team of three.
Okay.
Pete and my brother. We'll go with that. Pete was the psychologist that evac'd out of theater. He was also working at the vet center, and all of us were like, well, our mission never ended. You know, my enemy is still the demons that soldiers were acquiring in the war zone, and I would help them, you know, make a good first impression with this new relationship that they'll have. And now I'm dealing with veterans that have to live that life, and that's when it really starts. It was like, oh, okay, so everything was just to get to now. And so we started this mission, and we had this dream of writing a book of everything that we learned, going out on stage and teaching. Pete killed himself in January of 2012. And that mission came down to me.
Mm-hmm.
My brother's still in. Can't say his name because he's still on operation.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to write the book. I had to tell our story. And I would attempt to do so and create a whole cover-to-cover book of insane ramblings that just did not make sense. And over, just trying. But I had to do my healing. I was too mentally broken to be able to even communicate that which we learned. But as I'm doing that, every once in a while I started I'd make a point or what I thought was, and then I draw the veteran in the margins, just a little stick figure with a hat that said vet. And he'd be like, yeah, like anybody's going to understand this bullshit. And I'm like, so like that's kind of how it started. And I just started like drawing characters in the comics and or in the drafts of this book that I'm failing at making over and over. And that's actually where Stick Vet came from, was in the margins of my ramblings, trying to get this out. And I was writing a chapter about the veteran's relationship with death. And so I drew Stick Vet and I drew death. And I changed Stick Vet to where he has a smile now. And that's all I did. And I was like, that's what I'm trying to write. Why am I writing? So I just tried the comic, and it's just Stick and Civilian, and Death comes over and Civilian runs away. And Death bums a smoke, and Stick does a corny joke. And that's it. And that comic got more traction than my wedding photos, than the birth of my children, than anything I had ever done. And so I'm like, oh, they like it. Okay. Let me do another one. Let me do another one. How about Chick Vet? And a civilian comes up and goes, oh, was your husband in the military? Right after thanking Stick Vet for his service. So, you know, the whole how women veterans are cheated. Boom! Now Stick Vet has more followers than I do. That's weird. My fictional character has more friends than I have. That's okay, cool. You know, I'll keep going. And so I let go of the book for a while, and I started drawing the comics. And And it worked for a few years, but then, went off the grid, did my cleansing for a few years, and that mission of the book came back. I've done my work. Can I write it?
Mm-hmm.
And another, I don't know, 8 cover to cover insane ramblings, trying. This time it's like closer. And I start typing it out. And I got like, 50 pages, 10 that I could use pieces of ish. Not much. That's not it.
Mm-hmm.
And so this last year, I let it go. I let Pete go. And then started a YouTube. And I'm like, I'm just going to tell my story. And wrote out a script, did a video, script, video, script, video, 1 video a week, 22 videos later. And I tricked myself. I wrote a book. I had it all there. I was 1 edit away.
Yep.
So I went through, full edit, published in June, From Warrior to Veteran. My first veteran training manual. First of many.
Nice.